chosen different titles for this. One has My First Kiss, and the others have His First Kiss, and there's another one who has Sito's First Kiss. So clearly I didn't know quite what I was doing. I call it a bedtime story for all ages. Once upon a time, in the village of St. Thomas y Vale, a brown-haired Capricornian baby boy was born to Sadie Knox and Ramon Turiano at the Linstead Hospital, at least one day earlier than the midwife had expected. Although the most wonderful monogrammed garments, swaddling clothes, and baby blue outfits from Cuba were bought by his proud grandfather, Captain Knox of the Royal Mail vessel SS Arundel, at exotic ports in the Caribbean basin, were on the way, there was absolutely nothing ready-made with which to enwrap Sito when he was born. No vest, sleep suit, or jumper. Sito's initial fashion statement, to the dismay of his parents, was a surgical lint garment hurriedly stitched together by hospital nurses. The village people said that, quote, the Emperor baby Sito was forced to remain in his birthday suit for many hours until his new clothes arrived. They did arrive the following day, along with his maternal grandmother Elvira, whose hired transport and innumerable boxes of baby gifts were delayed because of the deplorable state of the road between Angels and Bogwalk. A cold front from North America had, as was usual in January, deposited heavy rainfall, and the dreaded gorge was in spate. R.T., Sito's dad, the principal resident officer of the hospital, was born in Colón to a Jamaican worker on the Civil Road of the Canal and a Colombian mother and itinerant trader, Isabel de las Aguas. It was obvious to their friends, family, and teachers that Ramoncito's known ascendants came from various continents and places beyond the Caribe Basin. On Sunday, 5th January, R.T. strolled across to the St. Helens Scove Roman Catholic Church to give thanks to the Almighty for the safe and sound arrival of an heir. Within hours of taking his first breath, Sito started making a certain crying sound, hongi, hongi. Sadie explained it was his way of communicating that he needed to be fed. Grand-uncle Richard used to say that Sito's ancestry dated back to the royal kingdom of Benin. Dark chocolate-colored twin boys were adopted by a Scottish missionary with whom they traveled via Glasgow to Jamaica, possibly in mid-18th century. The boys were always free and well-schooled. Not to be ignored was Sito's fascination with color in general and candied chocolate in particular. In the year of his birth, in 1939, Hershey's miniatures were very popular. He keenly observed candy colors and the shade of the people around him. There were three basic human and candy colors: milky brown chocolate like itself, white cream chocolate, and a dark chocolate depending on the percentage of cocoa solids. None were more or less deserving of respect by the royal chocolatier. As he matured, Sito saw no need for reclassification. By the time he was a juvenile, he was well on his way to being a full-blown chocoholic. Individual studies confirm that acute and chronic cocoa intake have a positive effect on several cognitive outcomes that activate the brain and contribute to the appetite, reward, and mood regulation. There was also some modest parental concern about Sito's possible synesthesia. Clinically explained, this occurs when your brain routes sensory information through multiple unrelated senses, causing you to experience more than one sense simultaneously. Sito's perception of the number 13 was associated with the color and taste of cocoa in chocolate candies. However, the chocolate candy he preferred to thoroughly gorge himself with, because of the nuts and caramel ingredients, was the O. Henry bar. The stomach of a male juvenile is the closest human machine to a garbage compactor. The student Sito was as normal as one would expect from middle-class, multicultural, British-oriented socialization. The DNA in the genes inherited from his ancestors also contributed. Warrior genes meaning the potential to work at the highest standard under the most stressful conditions, are also a characteristic of his family group, and this facilitated his accomplishments as a Sea Scout and the attainment of King Scout badge qualifications. There was only one possible family member from 5,000 years ago that made Sito ponder the trajectory of his life. His family are descendants of Otzi, the Iceman, previously thought to be white, but later identified as a dark man, with family members in Sardinia, where there is also the Portuguese family link. Sito was satisfied with his progress by the time he was admitted to college, and saw himself as a mens sana in corpore sano. Alcohol and tobacco in the social life of the student collegiate reduced his chocolate candy consumption, but it was clear to him at the time that the sight and taste of chocolate, especially with the number 13 or digits adding up to that number, was still compulsive, waiting on an appropriate moment for full resurgence. In 1962, he left Jamaica to study law in England. Sito's adventure dream from an infant was to take off in an airplane, sail in the luxurious Queen Mary across the pond, pursue his career as a barrister, and explore Europe. Aboard BOAC Flight 684, he landed in New York on the 28th day of August 1962. New York was a place where his well-to-do relatives lived. It was a magnificent experience to land amid the excitement of the stores. The towering skyscrapers signaled power and prosperity. It seemed to be an ideal world. His hosts were happy, busy, wealthy, and hospitable. They and the other citizens in the three chocolate colors looked equal, and absent any racial animus, like a big, happy family of chocolates. This was a marvelous sight to see, and there was everything available that one could buy. It signaled to Sito that in this paradise there was ample opportunity to anonymously grow in wisdom, and he felt he was on the threshold of a new and exciting adventure. He became suddenly aware of his isolation from friends and family, but he looked up to the American flag in the same respectful amazement as on the 6th of August, only 3 weeks earlier, when he stood gazing at the unfurling green, black, and gold flag of independent Jamaica. He counted the 13 stripes on the American flag, and in the midst of his transformative welcome to the first and new world, his synesthesia returned, and the digits 1 and 3 transformed before his eyes into chocolate brown. He salivated and asked to be taken to the confectioner's in White Plains, and he came face to face with Hershey's temptingly sumptuous display of kisses. The ingredients of Ho Henry chocolate bars paled in comparison. His eye caught sight of sweet temptation, and he was unable to resist a cream passionnel, a conical kiss, when a pleasurable sensation associated with the colored graphene synesthesia overwhelmed him. Sito's first night in New York and his first kisses symbolized a deserved tribute to the manufacturer's chocolate candy in 1962. This was the year of Sito's first kiss, when they spruced up the packaging of Christmas shopping. There are many stories related to how Kisses chocolates received their name. Some have suggested that the machines that extrude the chocolates made us sound like a stage kiss, an idea that would probably appeal to Sito with his quasi-synesthesia issues. Kisses confection was introduced by Milton Hershey in 1907, and the holiday packaging for Valentine's Day and Halloween in the 1950s was added. But the foil for Kisses chocolates began changing colors in 1962. That year, Hershey first wrapped Kisses in chocolates with red, green, and silver foil, and similar color changes in foil color were made in the years that followed. It was not until 1963 that lights were installed designed to resemble wrapped kisses, complete with humes and unwrapped kisses. Chocolates along Chocolate Avenue in Hershey, Pennsylvania. England and all of Europe were a breath of fresh air, and Sito's choice of candy for the duration of 7 years was his ready-to-go-for chocolate bar Kit Kat, as its consumption, which included a wafer, was a more likely hunger-minimizing snack. In addition to the British Isles where Sito resided, he had the good fortune to have visited the capitals of Europe, the European Union, Germany, Spain, Portugal, Greece, the Netherlands, Italy and Switzerland, and the Principality of Liechtenstein. In their travels, they met, drank, talked, and dined with the King of Greece and Prince Consort of Britain, Commonwealth prime ministers, presidents, diplomats from Africa and Russia, cabinet ministers and leaders of opposition parties. On his departure for Jamaica, he viewed himself as having been privileged for the time being as any member of a royal family. Sito's sandals were firmly on solid earth. He was always mindful of the culture and traditions of the royals in the United Kingdom and his ancestors in the Royal Kingdom of Benin. The latter were integrally responsible, so the Guinness Book of Records says, for the most massive and spectacular earthworks in the history of mankind, after the partially useful Great Wall of China. The Panama Canal and the massive impenetrable Benin Wall are monuments of engineering and hard manual work, sans machinery. Sito, having achieved his professional goals, felt like a true prince. He saw himself as El Principe del Chocolate, simply a chocolate-brown prince with Monica. Neither race, ethnicity, further description defined them. With earned experience and modest wisdom, they faced the struggles and reveled in the innovations of the real world, leaving their indestructible dreams of fun and frolic behind. They returned on the Prince de Nederlanden to Kingston, where Hershey's Kisses, imported from America, revived the 1962 memory of Sito's first kiss.
Oh, we love it.
Surprising was they used the shells for their to keep the weeds out, ground cover. So the whole place smells like chocolate.
Yeah?
I mean, the ground cover.
On this all picture.
Good morning, everybody. Again, I apologize. Oh,
Please pass it around to me.
purple.
Show me it, I mean.
That was really clever. I love that. I love when you.
I like the pen.
What's that?
Oh, the smell, Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Thank
And
you.
you know, I won a prize once recently in a raffle. Oh, is this all for me? And one of it was a basket of things from Trader Joe's. And many of the things I gave away I was not going to use, but some of them I did use or kept. And one of them, and I haven't used it, but I think I'm going to use it tonight, is a candle that smells of chocolate. You know,
Aren't you afraid it'll cause you to overeat and look for dessert?
I don't, because I'm getting some company tonight, so I thought I would like the candle. But now I'm thinking maybe I should bring it here next week. I like the candle here, and we can all smell it.
Remember his name, Sito.
They look like
have
dark
anything
chocolate.
that
Yeah.
Are they
wanted
dark?
They're dark.
I'm sorry.
Yes, or dark.
They're dark
Oh,
chocolate.
my favorite.
By the way, let me
Did
tell
you have
something
anything
about
you
chocolate.
wanted to share with us? Are you,
In my head, not on paper, but if that's okay, I can do it. Just do it.
any way you wish?
Thank you. Is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.